Did you know the highest rated free attraction in Singapore cost over $1 billion to build, and they don't even charge you a cent to visit it? And that's only one of the reasons I recommend visitors to Singapore check out Gardens by the Bay. In this video, I'm going to share with you the other reasons I love recommending Gardens by the Bay, as well as 8 of my other favorite free things to do in Singapore that I always recommend to visitors. So number 1 is visiting Haw Par Villa. Haw Par Villa is my favorite theme park in Singapore. It was built over 80 years ago to teach young people traditional Chinese values, but now it's full of stories from its decades of survival as a park since then. I love how weird everything is. There are these creatures who want to befriend you, there are animals who want to share a snack with you, and there are of course topless mermaids inviting you into their cool pool of water. My favorite thing to show visitors is all the halfies. These are the half animal, half human hybrids that include fish, turtles, birds, and much more. It's also good for kids. You can feed the turtles, there are bubble toys for them, and plenty of space to run around. It's so important to Singapore they built its own MRT, so you can get to it by Haw Par Villa MRT on the Circle Line. So number 2 is Botanic Gardens. This is my second favorite green space in Singapore. I'll share with you my number 1 later on. The Botanic Gardens are UNESCO World Heritage listed, sprawling over 200 acres in size and containing more than 10,000 species of plant. One of the trees located within the gardens is said to be over 200 years old, predating the gardens themselves and being famous enough to appear on the $5 note. I love the immersion you can get in the Botanic Gardens. There's unkempt jungle that you can explore, there are wide open lakes attracting wildlife, there's plenty of open space to have a picnic, and there are incredible birds to listen out to their song. I also recommend some of the specialty gardens within the Botanic Gardens, such as the Healing Garden. There are lots of interesting traditional medicinal plants here, and it smells great. It's a great place to wander around, sit down, and relax. I'm always surprised there aren't more tourists at the Botanic Gardens. It's very easy to get to by MRT. I recommend going to the Botanic Gardens MRT station and walking through the gardens to get to the Napier MRT station. This way has less climbing in the heat. Number 3 then is Gardens by the Bay. These are the billion-dollar gardens that I mentioned at the start of this video. But did you know that you can get up close and personal with the famous super trees and that it's completely free to do so? That's why I like recommending Gardens by the Bay to visitors. A lot of the gardens are free to visit and walk around. I really enjoy standing at the base of the trees and looking up with a sense of marvel, especially when they light up. There is a full light show that happens at night, which you can watch here for free, and it's well timed to get to the Satay Street afterward. I still recommend accessing the gardens through the Bayfront MRT station, as the Gardens by the Bay station isn't fully integrated into the network yet. Number 4 is the Merlion. I like to bring people here if they don't have much time in Singapore. It's easy to get to, it's quick to visit, and it's free. Our favorite half fish, half lion, who is older than Singapore itself by the way, loves having his photo taken. Get up close and personal and take a selfie with the Merlion, just don't fall into the water, and combine a visit to the Merlion with a stroll around the bay to get some great views of Marina Bay Sands and the Singapore CBD as well. I usually bring people to the Merlion via the Fullerton building, as it has an interesting history of Singapore as you walk through the underpass from Raffles Place MRT station. Number 5 is the Jewel Waterfall. The tallest indoor waterfall in the world is completely free to visit, so feel free to bring the family along and take a selfie with it. I feel the green space around the waterfall is highly underrated. Did you know that you can climb up the stairs here to get away from the crowds and find somewhere peaceful and tranquil to sit and wait for your next flight? I like recommending Jewel to visitors because it is easy to visit in transit. 4 hours is the minimum transit time, and I was told this by the immigration authority. There's lots of space for the family to enjoy and lots of Singaporean food. My tip to enjoy the waterfall at Jewel is to head up to the Canterbury Park level for a better view with less crowds. Hit like on this video if you want me to share more tips like this. Fort Canning Park is my 6th recommendation on this list, and this is my favorite park in Singapore. I enjoy it because it's rarely crowded, it's close to the city and easy to access, and it's full of green space and even has a smattering of historical sites that are still standing today. It's also really good if you're visiting Singapore for work and want a quick way to escape the office. You can even do this at night. Singapore is so safe that you can walk around a dark park in the middle of the city at night and have it be enjoyable. The highlight for most visitors I bring here though is the famous Instagram spot at the bottom of the fort. You might have to queue for it though if you come at a busy time. The park is completely free and you can get to it from Fort Canning, Clarke Quay or Dhoby Ghaut MRT station. Number 7 on my list is the Singapore River. While you're at Fort Canning Park, I usually recommend taking a walk along the Singapore River as well. I like this one because you can find old photos that show you what Singapore used to be like, having grown up along this river, compared to what it is now as a modern metropolis. There are some really nice buildings to take a look at as well. I usually recommend doing this in the evening or at night so you can get a view of the lights of the city and when it's much cooler. There are boat rides available, but that wouldn't meet my objective being free in this video. Number 8 is the Terrace Houses at Joo Chiat. These are colourful terrace houses located in the inner eastern part of Singapore that lots of people love taking photos in front of. The draw for me in this area has always been exploring Joo Chiat Road though, and all the interesting food and shops that are located along the road. I focus so far on the free things to do in Singapore, but did you know that there are lot of activities you can do in Singapore for under $10. Check out my video here next to find out more.